Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. I'm one half of the duo here, Chad Bumgarner, and I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
Hey, Pete, with that, let's go ahead and get into it.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And, folks, if there's a topic that you want to have us talk about, if you want us to weigh in on it, hear our views, opinions, or thoughts, or if you want to tell us how we're doing or what you would like to see or hear on here to make it better, we are all ears, guys. Please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address listed on the screen there, ourvoice360 at Gmail. Yeah, there we go. At gmail.com. That's ourvoice360 at gmail.com. All right. Today we're talking about briefly. We're going to jump into the Deshaun Watson issue. He just recently got traded, if you will, to the Cleveland Browns, and there's still a concern about, I guess, his integrity, so to speak, if you will. There are still the civil lawsuits. I think 21 or 22 of them that are still hanging in the balance that are still over his head that eventually he needs to address. We'll figure out how to resolve. And then we're going to jump into the big issue of last week was Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, how that went down. Was it the right way? What's the best way to protect our black women when being scrutinized, or I don't want to say humiliated because it was a comedian, but at the same time, when is enough enough? So with that, Pete, let's go ahead and get into it. So,
Okay.
excuse me. So real quick, we're going to jump into the Deshaun Watson. Now, a while back, he had an issue with the Houston Texans, and for whatever reason, he chose that he wanted to leave Houston. Didn't want to play anymore. I know he made some cryptic tweets about loyalty. Don't know all the specifics, but I guess he felt like, management or, the front office didn't treat him a certain way, so he wanted out. He chose to sit out, didn't want to play. He got fined. He didn't care. He did not want to suit up again. And then, amazingly to me, shortly after this situation occurred, all these lawsuits came out about Deshaun Watson. As a matter of fact, it was 22 civil lawsuits. But before that, there was another lawsuit, but he beat that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Well,
right.
Actually, excuse me, in the going into the grand jury, he had two different grand juries, and they both decided not to go forward with a criminal trial, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we still have the 22 civil suits, because the two grand juries decided not to push forward in a criminal trial, which for a grand jury not to push forward in a criminal trial, there's not a lot of evidence.
Right.
There couldn't have been enough. Basically, that's why they didn't do it, because there was not enough evidence to move forward in a criminal trial, or they felt it wasn't enough evidence.
The evidence they had, a lot of it was circumstantial. If I'm.
Yeah. So, and again, that's totally different from civil lawsuits, because the civil lawsuits are basically we want you to cut us a check for X amount of dollars, and then we can move forward. So that's why we still have the civil suits still lingering for him.
Right.
Because the criminal suits were basically thrown out, and now we have to deal with the back end of the civil suits, and that's basically we want you to cut us a check for X amount of dollars, and then we'll go our separate ways.
Right. So these civil suits are basically dealing with masseuse, women that give massages, and I'm allegedly he's looking for up and coming masseuse, because my understanding is that he pulled them or found them on Instagram.
Whew.
So
Wow.
Allegedly, and so if that's the case, one would be led to believe. Now, again, this is alleged. I don't know this to be true, but if I'm a multi-million-dollar quarterback and I'm the face of the franchise, why don't I just go to the facility and let the professionals give me a massage?
Or find you a professional and just stick with him or her,
Just stick with him or her.
And that is your
Right.
masseuse.
Your go-to. Right.
Your
That's
go-to.
your go-to. Yeah.
That's your go-to.
Yeah.
I know during this situation, Shannon Sharp on Undisputed said a lot about how, he has a masseuse.
Right.
And he flies. I think she's on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And when he needs her, he flies her out.
Mm-hmm.
She stays in the guest home, and she stays there for 1 week or 2, or however long the period of time is that he needs her.
Mm-hmm.
She stays in the guest home. There's no communication outside of, when it's time for her to do the massage and the massages or whatever she needs to do to his body to get his body back in order. And then he flies her back to her home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was saying about this situation is, first of all, why are you going on Instagram?
See, that's the point. When I read that, I was like,
yeah. It's just not a good look. And then for you to have 22, if that's the case, allegedly 22, if that's the case, bro, what are you doing?
Well, not only that, but
what are you doing?
Well, it's what are they doing? Because
because
if you're looking for a masseuse on Instagram, up and coming, one would be led to believe that during the massage that there's what most people call a nice happy ending, and something allegedly,
something happened.
And now these women supposedly are coming out, and now there's a civil suit. And they could be like, I felt forced to do it, or I was scared, and I'm like, that's shady too, because it just sounds like you found out who he was, and now you want money.
But I mean, Chad, it's a slippery slope, though. I mean, you really have to look at it because if they say word on the street, he freaky, he want the women to do X, Y, and Z to him, and this, that, and the third. And if those women did feel uncomfortable, they have every right to,
agree.
File criminal charges.
Why didn't they leave? If you felt uncomfortable about the situation, why didn't you leave?
And maybe some did, and they still filed criminal. I don't know. We weren't
right. We're speculating.
We're
speculating
there.
Yeah.
So
right.
Some may have left. Some may have been, felt a certain way, and felt threatened or whatever the case may be. We don't know. We weren't there.
Right.
So you have to give the benefit of the doubt to both sides, because it's basically now a he said she said situation.
True indeed.
So who do you choose to believe type situation now?
Which is why in the famous words of the legendary MC Light, I crammed to understand why.
You didn't go back to 88, did you?
Yeah, I had to go back on.
Back to 88.
I had to go back on.
All right.
I crammed to understand why a man of that stature and influence and the face of a franchise, at least up until that point.
Right.
If you're going to have a massage outside of the professional facilities of the place that you work,
right,
one or two things: either have someone else there during the massage session, or have it video recorded. One of the two. You have too much to lose, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have too much to lose. You know what I mean? And it just I really was one way about this situation until I did more research, and then I was like, this sounds shady. Why are you going to Instagram, bro? You are Deshaun Watson.
And then on the women's side of it, you have to be in a situation like that if you are bringing these women into your home.
Right.
And I don't know what he told those women beforehand.
Right.
Or if it was a situation she was in the middle of doing whatever, and then he was like, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And then if she's like, nah, that's not what I do.
Right.
We have to look at it from the women's aspect as well.
Right. They were scared.
Because if he was not forthright and upfront with what he really wanted, and then they're put in a situation like, okay, I didn't come here for this.
Right.
I come here to do my job, and then get my paycheck, and then I'm gone.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, it's now we're at the stage since there's not going to be a criminal case
Right.
or criminal cases. Now again, it's just a he said she said situation, and now people are going to form their opinion in the public opinion now on
Mm-hmm.
their own.
Mm-hmm.
Either they're going to you know vilify him, or people are going to be like he didn't do it.
And you know
I mean,
and the thing is, like I was telling you off air, I was listening to this one podcast, and they were talking about how, instead of settling, Deshaun is more along the lines of he's trying to clear his name. It's an integrity issue.
mm-hmm.
But one lawyer on the show said that if he was Deshaun's lawyer, he would go ahead and settle with these women as soon as possible and get this behind him. My thing is, the lawyer or lawyers who are representing the 22 clients that are suing Deshaun, to the best of my knowledge, have not moved to settle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of scary to me, because if you're not moving to settle, that to me, that's saying, hey, I got some stuff up my sleeve that y'all haven't found yet that can really damage, Deshaun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the lawyer on the radio show was like, look, you don't know what damning evidence he or she, as the lawyer, may or may not have.
Right.
Why would you want to take that chance coming in another organization, possibly being the face of that organization, and risking harm to yourself, your brand, and to the Cleveland Browns? Now, to the Cleveland Browns, I guess, defense, if you will, pretty sure they have sent private investigators to look into all of these matters to find out, is it a safe bet to go ahead and sign him, because we don't want any backlash or blow up or whatever. So I would have to believe, until otherwise proven wrong, that the Cleveland Browns organization came in and did their due diligence. But at the end of the day, I think I would take that lawyer's advice on that one particular show and just go ahead and settle. But like I told you off air, what I didn't realize is when you settle with people now, you can have a clause in there saying, I am not admitting guilt, but I'm gonna go ahead and slide you this cheese, and you don't talk about this again, and it's water under the bridge.
Yeah, you sign an NDA, and you can't talk about it again, and keep it pushing.
That's it. So. But
it's just, I mean, it's either way, it doesn't matter if whatever he puts in, they put in the contract with if he decides to settle, or even if he goes forth and goes through all 22 allegations, it doesn't matter. People have already formed their opinion about him. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what comes, if he settles or if he fights it. People have already come to their decision on what they feel about Deshaun Watson.
Right.
And what he has to do now is move forward.
Yeah.
He is now the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. They are paying you a king's ransom. They gave you 5 years, $230 million, fully guaranteed.
Now, is that guaranteed, or is that guaranteed?
No, that's guaranteed.
Clause?
No, that's guaranteed. All 230 going to him.
So if the trials move forward and there's some damning evidence that can hurt him,
I mean, the only thing the NFL, I mean, there's not going to be criminal charges, so he's not going to go to jail.
That's right. You said
he's not going to go to jail.
Right.
So I mean, the only thing the NFL can do is do like they did with Ben Roethlisberger,
like a suspension.
They could suspend him for conduct detrimental to the league, and if they do, I see it'll be 8 to 6 games. He'll probably go in there and try to get it lowered. If they start at 8, appeal it, and if they start at 8, he might get appeal it to 6, or something like that. But as it's looking right now, I don't think the NFL has any interest in suspending him.
No.
From the article I read last week, that the NFL was like, we'll get to it when we get to it, basically. So I mean, but either way, I mean, it's just a bad judgment by Deshaun.
Yeah.
It's just a bad judgment by Deshaun that, I mean, you know, you can't, first of all, why are you going on Instagram to get your masseuse? Second of
I
all,
keep going back to that, man. That's my
yeah,
go-to. Every time I
yeah,
think about this whole situation,
there are so many credible
yeah,
businesses, massage businesses in this world. I'm sure it's thousands, maybe hundreds and thousands in Houston and the Texas state alone. So you're telling me you couldn't go to one of these places and be like, okay, or I'm sure it's dudes that you're in contact with through the league who has their own personal masseuse.
that
You
could
can't go to
recommend you.
these guys and be like, hey, bro, could you recommend me, you know, can I, you know, use your masseuse X, Y, and Z or yada, yada, yada. And like I was saying earlier about Shannon Sharp, you know, you find one, fly him or her out, you know, do whatever you need to do, then fly them back to where they live.
Yep.
And be done. But
Be
yeah,
done,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just a bad look that you're going on Instagram and you're getting all these random women to come to your house to do massage therapy on you when, you know,
Allegedly,
allegedly, when it's a better look if you just, you know,
go
find
to a
one person,
professional. Yeah.
find one person. And these women,
Well, you
quite,
right. I don't want to discredit
quite,
these women. They probably are
quite
professional.
a
Yeah,
few
you're
of
right.
these women
My
that
apologies.
they are licensed
Yeah.
massage therapists. These are licensed women.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just still not a bad look that you have 22
Right.
different. Okay, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
weird to me. That's just weird, and it's just not a good look. And he's very lucky that, you know, the criminal charges, they're not moving along with criminal charges
Right.
because there wasn't enough evidence. But I'm with you, Chad. You try to settle these cases and get it done with. That's what most people that get with money, that's what they do. They settle
Just settle.
and keep it pushing.
That's it.
And because public opinion is going to be public opinion. People have already made their sides and made their decisions, and it's going to be people boycotting the games and all. That's
And
all.
even if even if he won all 22, like you said, there's still some people. Nah,
Yeah,
this sounds
exactly,
safe. So
exactly.
cut your losses, man.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing he can do.
Cut your
So
losses. Move forward. Go to Cleveland. You know, earn your trust. Work
yeah,
in the
ball
community.
out. Yeah, ball out.
You know, like in his interview, he was like, I want to get into the community. I want to do that. Get in the community, work with the people, the kids, organizations. Do that, because you do that, you play good ball, people are more likely to forget. Some, not all.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the topic of the week. It seems to be, even overshadowing the war that's going on in the Ukraine. But the infamous Oscars, the 94th Oscars, more in particular, before we get into this, I want to personally give a shout out to a ran Oscars show. The production was flawless. I want to give a shout out to Will Packer and his team for doing a flawless job for the 94th Oscars award. They were fantastic. And I hate that this one particular incident overshadowed that, but we here on Our Voice 360 want to give them, Will Packer and his team, their flowers.
Yes, sir.
Because it's not every day that an all-black production crew gets an opportunity to do something on this kind of stage. This, you know, so shout out to Will Packer and his crew for, you know, the production and the flawless work that they did on the 94th Oscars. Awesome job. Now, so there's Chris Rock. And apparently this situation happened during a commercial break. Chris Rock, of course, is a comedian, well-known comedian.
No, this wasn't a commercial break. This was live on TV. This wasn't no commercial break. This was live.
Yeah, I read it was on a commercial break. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read it was.
Oh, okay.
Commercial break.
I thought it was live because he was on stage doing his
thing. Yeah, I read it was on commercial, and you know, I guess he was just, you know, entertaining the crowd until time to go back live or whatever. But anyway, he was up there, you know, talking or whatever, and, you know, doing his jokes, doing what he does. And so he made a comment about Jada Pinkett. Now, quick backdraft on her, or background on her recently, is that she is bald now because she has alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which is when your hair falls out due to stress, or
Mm-hmm.
in several other issues. But Chris Rock makes a joke about Jada Pinkett because she's bald. And he makes a G.I. Jane joke. He says,
Mm-hmm.
paraphrasing,
Mm-hmm.
Jada Pinkett, G.I. Jane, love it, can't wait to see it. Everybody, haha, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so her husband, Will Smith, walks up on the stage and smacks the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of has a smirk on his face and walks back to his seat.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris was like, hey, it was a G.I. Jane joke, and Will made a point to say, hey, keep my wife out of your blankety blank mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris says something else. I'm paraphrasing, folks. Y'all, have to go back and watch the video. But he was like, yo, it was a joke. That's what Chris Rock does. He joked.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a serious matter. And see, the people that are mad at Chris for that, they are assuming that Chris knew about
Mm-hmm.
her alopecia. Everybody doesn't know about her alopecia situation. Everybody don't follow Will and Jada like that. Some people
Mm-hmm.
don't even care. And I don't mean there's no shade. It's just some people just don't care. So you can't expect everybody to know what's going on with you because you have a a table talk show and you talked about it openly. Okay, still, there's only so many people that watch it and care
Mm-hmm.
about it. So you
Right.
can't sit here and assume that Chris Rock knows that she has an issue. You
Mm-hmm.
just But anyway, so Chris, a lot of people saying give him credit for being professional and moving on with the show and doing his work or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
the topic we're going to jump into today is how best do we protect our black women?
Mm-hmm.
You know, was Will right in doing what he did?
Mm-hmm.
Was the timing off?
Right.
Is there a line that you don't cross in comedy? From my understanding, there is no line. That's why comedy is so beautiful. You can
Mm-hmm.
say what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot to unpack
Right.
here, Pete.
Right.
Like I was
Mm-hmm.
telling you off air, it was a shock to the nation or the world because for so long, Will's image has been pretty much, squeaky clean, straight,
Mm-hmm. Right.
lovable type of guy, like
Right.
a younger Bill, a younger Dr. Huxtable, if you will. Everybody loves,
Mm-hmm.
Will. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
he
Right.
he
Right.
generically appeals to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how hard or easy that is to do. I've never been in those shoes,
Mm-hmm.
but I do understand that as a married man, that you do protect your woman at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how you go about that is another question.
Right.
So, Pete, let's get into it, man. What how do you feel? I mean, I'll jump off real quick. I think personally, I applaud the brother for defending his wife.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think that was the time to do it.
Right.
That was not the time to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
think he should have, rolled up on him after the show or,
Mm-hmm.
in between commercials and put a little bug in his ear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
My opinion. Okay, Pete, let me just say that my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have been more of a gentleman about it. You pull his coattail on the sidelines and express
Mm-hmm.
your views, air your opinions or views
Mm-hmm.
to that man and settle it like some grown men. Now, if Chris wanted to get irate with you, now you can say, okay, well, let's just take this to the parking lot. Let's not interrupt the service.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be some gentlemen and take this to the parking lot and we can handle it there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to go up on that stage and do that like that was, to me, in poor taste. I
Right.
mean, the reasons why he did it, I get that. I respect that. But the timing of it was totally off.
Right.
Totally off. And there was also from what I read and understand it, there's been some tension between Chris Rock and Jada because, like, again, you and I talked off air back in, what'd you say, 2016 when he roasted her on the Oscars because she was boycotting for whatever reason it was. I think lack of diversity. I think that's what it was.
Lack of diversity, and then some. Will didn't get nominated for Best Actor for the Concussion movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And she was upset about that.
Yeah.
As well.
So he roasted her back then, and then he hit her again, last week. And so I don't know if that was the straw that broke the camel's back with Will, or who knows? Only Will and God know for sure. But totally out of character to do something like that at that time, right. in my opinion. And
right.
I don't know. I was talking to my wife, and I was like, "Why didn't Jada stop him?" It was just a thought. Why didn't you saw him walking up there? Why didn't you call his name and say, "Will, no, not now, not now"? You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, first off, Chad, I agree with you totally as far as the timing of it. I mean, you have to know time and place. You have to know time and place. We are not in a situation where we in the club or we at the restaurant or we just out here in the streets. I mean, you got to recognize time and place. First of all, not because of the Oscars itself, not because of the entity of the Oscars. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
It's just the simple fact of, it's other people here getting awarded. You don't want to take away from other people's shine.
Right.
That's what you don't, which is done. It's taken away from,
and he's been called selfish for doing that.
Yeah, and it's taken away from Questlove winning the Oscar that he won after. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The situation, like I said, it's not for the Academy itself. I could care less about that. But it's about the people. It's about Will Packer.
Yeah.
It's about
and his team. His
team. Will Packer and his team. It's about the other people that's receiving Oscars this night. Don't take away from them. You see what I'm saying? That's my issue with what Will did.
Right.
He could have pulled, like I said, he could have pulled that brother to the side and been like, "Look, I feel you disrespecting my wife. You can either go apologize to her, or if not, we're going to have to handle it some other way."
Right. Choice is yours.
So choice is yours. Choice is yours.
You can get with this,
or you can get with that.
You can get with that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Black Sheep made a song about it. You know what I'm saying? Get with this, or you can get with that. And engine number 9. Somebody might have to come over here and pick you up.
Right.
I mean, so again, you pull that brother to the side. And you talk to him like grown men. You talk like grown men. Look here, bro. I'm gonna look you in your eye, and we're gonna talk about this. And then these are your options. And you choose wisely. Choose wisely. And then on top of that, I agree with Will in defending Jada. Because as men, that's what we are taught.
That's right.
And then I'm hearing all these people talk about, well, she can defend her. No. It's not her job in my presence.
Right.
It's not the woman's job to protect herself if she's being disrespected by someone else.
Right.
That's my job. Now, if I'm not there,
if you're not there, then yes,
that's totally different. If I'm not in the building, I'm not in that space where she is, that's totally different. And then I will deal with you accordingly if I see you
on site.
On site. I have to deal with you.
Could you imagine that if Will was not there, right? Let's say he was filming somewhere in another part of the nation or the world and caught wind of that. Can you imagine what his Twitter would be to Chris? Hey, Chris, I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be 2 words. It'll be a Bernie Mac special. You'll be like, hey, Chris, on site.
On site. That's it.
That's it. Now, for those of you who are not of the black and black, the black and brown hue, because we all know what on site means.
Yeah.
On site means whenever I see you face to face,
yeah,
it's gonna be a situation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a situation for sure.
It's gonna be some furniture moving.
Yes, for sure. But it's
gonna be a misunderstanding.
Yeah, all of that. But it's been so many think pieces and all of this stuff on this situation, but it's really simple. And it's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
Respect my woman, respect my wife, and we won't have this situation. And I understand you're a comedian.
Right.
I get all of that. I get that it's funny. But what kills me is with the Chris. I'm gonna go on Chris Rock now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All the people in that room, you go after the black woman. Why? See, because from when stuff happens, things start to come out from the past. Now, from word on the street is now allegedly that Jada turned Chris Rock down back in the day, and he's still harboring feelings about that. So, is that the case? Did you let your emotions get the best of you when you saw her? You saw her and felt some type of way with all these people in the room. You felt some type of way, and you had to go after her because, like you did in 2016.
I was about to say, or was it because in 2016 when you roasted her because she boycotted, the Oscars because of she felt lack of diversity and like you said, Pete.
Yeah, Will didn't get nominated for the Concussion movie.
Right.
And my thing is this: as a man, you can pick at me, you can pick on me, but what you're not gonna do is pick on my wife, my woman, my lady friend, my girlfriend, my significant other. That's what you're not gonna do.
Yeah,
not in my presence.
It seems like wife and kids should be off limits, just like in politics, just like in anything. Wife and kids should be off limits.
It should be, but some folk get reckless. Then again, let's talk about Chris Rock again and his long-standing being encompassed with white folk. His world, his bubble, white folk. To me, I felt when I saw it, he was trying to placate to those folk, to those very people. So I'm gonna pick this black woman out of all these people in the room because I guarantee you, if it was Nicole Kidman or Meryl Streep or some other white actress that had alopecia or walked in there bald headed, I guarantee you there wouldn't have been a G.I. Jane joke.
Didn't think about that.
So again, you're placating to people you have surrounded yourself with, that you think you're comfortable with. And so now you've placated this, and now this man to come up here and slap the taste out your mouth. But the funny thing is, you placating got the taste slapped out your mouth. And then those same very people that you placate to didn't come to your defense. Everybody went to Will. Will, you good? You good, Will? That kind of lets you know where his standing is in Black Hollywood, because all the black actors went to Will. Denzel, Tyler Perry, other stars, and even there was a still photo of, I guess Denzel was trying to make the peace between them on the side of the stage at some point. But still, that lets you know how you're viewed. To me, how I see it through my eyes in Black Hollywood, because nobody black came to your defense. And even the people that you placate to didn't come to your defense. So what is your standing in Hollywood? And then again with Chris Rock, You know, if you go back a couple years back when they had a roundtable with Rock, Ricky Gervais, Louis C.K., and what's the other white comedian? Jerry Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back, you know, Chris Rock tells Louis C.K. that he's the N-word. He's the whitest N-word I ever known. And then Louis C.K. and Ricky Gervais goes on this hard ER N-word rant. And Chris Rock is sitting there like, just laughing and giggling. See, he lost a lot of respect with that, with black people in general and Black Hollywood. When you have Jerry Seinfeld, the only one up there that's cringy, when the N-word is being hard ER N-word is being thrown around by white dudes, and you the only black dude in the room, and you cool with it,
right? That speaks volumes. Yeah,
that speaks volumes to how comfortable they are around him. That they can just, you know, and because they know he's the one that he's cool with it. We can say it around him. So he's pretty much the lost cause as far as Black Hollywood is concerned. I'm not saying that for sure, but I'm just on the outside looking in. I'm just saying it from how I see it.
Right.
And my thing is this, bro. You just like Will. There's a time and place for everything.
Agreed.
There's a time and place for everything. And like I said, out of all the people in that room, you go after the black woman. Why? Why the black woman? Out of all the people in that room. You see, he didn't go after Beyonce. Beyonce was in that room. He didn't go after any white actresses. They were in that room. Why
she was the low hanging fruit.
Exactly. Why Jada? And then getting back to Will, folk has been picking on Will for 15 years.
Because he's been the goody two shoe. Yeah.
Actually, we can go back even further. Will been getting picked on since what was the first album they made?
Parents Just Don't Understand?
No, that was the second album.
That was the second album?
Yeah, but you know, he really came to fame with Parents Don't Understand. And so, you know, we've been picking at some level. Even I picked it with, come on, man. You ain't gonna cuss at all. You know what I'm saying? Some of the songs, you know, Parents Don't Understand and all that. I'm like, okay, that's corny. That is corny. I mean, we of course we love the song, but it was still corny.
It was relatable, but corny. You're right.
But corny. And you know, we've been picking on this dude since 1988. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And now you get into this situation with Jada and entanglements and sleeping with the little boy. Yeah, August Alsina.
Yeah, we should have slapped.
And all this other, and again, we don't know if he did slap him.
Well, that's true.
And see, people that was the running joke that, you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that was the running joke that, well, he should have slapped August Alsina. Who knows? We don't know if he didn't slap the taste out of his mouth too. August didn't tell that side of the story. He just told it. He just told his side. So I mean, again, that was the straw that broke the camel back for Will. Will was just tired. What does what's the gospel singer's name? I can't remember what her name. Truth is, I'm tired.
Tamla Man.
Tamla Man. Yeah. That was going on in Will's head. Truth is, I'm tired. And I'm weak. I'm tired of y'all.
Yeah.
And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean,
and trust me, I understand, because that's a public setting. Your wife got humiliated, and you sitting there, and it's like, I got to do something.
I got to do something. But
at the same time, it's like,
especially if she's looks at you the way Jada looked at it. Like, so you just gonna let that dude talk about me like that? You know I passed. That's what that look was. He roasted me in 2016. You just gonna let that dude? You ain't do nothing then. You just gonna let that dude do that to me? Huh, Will? Huh? That's what he was saying in his head when he saw that look.
Yeah, but I get it.
Fight every night to
prove my love.
My love.
But see, that's the same. like I said, I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating and it's so hard because when you are Will and Jada, you have built an empire. You
Yes.
have multiple companies. You guys are
Yes.
multimillionaires. You have a lot
Yes.
at stake. What
Mm-hmm.
you do affects hundreds of other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to get roasted for this, but that was a selfish moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was a selfish moment.
Mm-hmm.
But and I know Will he was stuck. He was stuck because he's like, I want to do something, but this is on TV or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But then the compacted stress or pressure to that was like you said when Jada looked at him,
I gotta do
and
something.
it's like I got to do something.
Gotta
So
do something.
now you made your move, you proved your point temporarily. So now all these people who depend on you to eat. And when I say that, folks that are listening and watching, I'm talking about their production company. I'm talking about all the shows that they're
Mm-hmm.
creating and producing and writing,
Mm-hmm.
that other actors and people working behind the scenes are working for their production company. This is how these people eat. This is how these people
Mm-hmm.
live,
Right.
off the dreams and the finance backing from Will and Jada's
Right.
production company.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of one selfish moment, all those people's lives are on pause.
Right.
And look, like I said, Pete, I know I'm gonna get hit. It's okay. I got broad shoulders. I can take it. I
Okay.
just need for y'all to listen and understand just for one moment that that situation was bigger than that particular moment. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm not saying Will should not have checked Chris Rock. That is not what I'm saying. Please hear me, guys. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he should have did it at another time. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm saying.
Right.
For him to walk up there, and like I told Pete off air, I read that it was during a commercial break, right? So it wasn't live TV,
Mm-hmm.
but still, you know what I'm saying? You're in a large setting. It's one of the biggest night. It's the biggest night in Hollywood for acting,
Mm-hmm.
the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a situation where as soon as Chris goes off stage, you get up and you go off stage and you pull his coattail, and
Yeah.
like
You
Pete
deal
said,
with it.
as a grown man, you handle that.
Right. Right.
You don't interrupt a whole situation that's going on because there's people coming on after you that have worked their entire lives
Mm-hmm.
for this event
Mm-hmm.
to be validated.
Right.
And you just took that from them.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I go back to what I said before, and I read, Pete, in this article about all of these shows and projects that Will had coming up this year
Mm-hmm.
that Sony paused because of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So now there are a lot of actors, actresses, crew members, so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
that were ready to work or
Mm-hmm.
in the process of working, rehearsing,
Right.
preparing. All that stuff is put on pause now
Right.
because you had to go up there and do what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another aspect to looking at. It's like that's why you see a lot of times people of that stature, when you have built an empire, so to speak. It's an empire to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You really have to learn how to move a different way. And it's a lot of stuff that you got to take being in that
Mm-hmm.
spot because a lot of people do their best to try to prompt you to act out of character so they can sue you. It's
Right.
about money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
being in that game, being in it in that game for so long, a lot of the celebrities and power couples and people like that, they already know this.
Right.
So a lot of times they try to keep themselves out of certain situations
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people out here are broke and looking for a come up, and if they can prompt you to hit them or slander them or do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's a quick check.
Right. Right.
After so many of them, your money is like, yo, I gotta chill out. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
broke, selling, every 5 minutes.
Right.
And so, like I said, I get it. He was in a pickle,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, he was.
but now it's really gonna cost. And like you said, he got long bread. He can ride off into the sunset. He'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the production company and all the people that was working for him that helped him get there to push his brand or whatever, they
Right.
got to figure out what to do now. They got to
Exactly.
figure, what else because of one bad move.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
don't know how his team is going to do damage control. And I stay on Will because honestly, with Chris got better after this.
Oh yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
shows sold out.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? People are flocking to his shows just trying to see if he's going to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been very smart not to indulge in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been people at his shows that have been talking about F. Will Smith and talking about Will said, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. He didn't. They said he didn't press charges, but the Oscars are talking about they still may. I don't know, but like I said, he was in a pickle. He acted on instinct. That instinct is going to cost him and her, Jada. That is, it's going to cost them big time.
And speaking of Jada, is again we're talking about the protection of black women. It's crazy in this whole situation. Nobody's talking about her.
Right.
Nobody's talking about her being disrespected or even feeling disrespected. You may not think it was disrespectful what Chris Rock said, but obviously with the reaction of her husband, she felt disrespected. And nobody's talking about that portion of it. Nobody's talking about the black woman in the situation, the reason for the slap. Nobody's talking about her, which is a travesty to me, because if anybody needs to be apologized to, it's her.
It's her. Yeah.
It's her. The joke was about her. It wasn't about Will. Will felt that he was defending his wife, who he felt was disrespected.
Agreed.
In his presence.
And she was disrespected.
And she was.
She was.
He was disrespected. To me, personally.
To me as well.
So again, why aren't we talking about Chris Rock apologizing to her? Instead of all of this talk about, Will needs to do X, Y, and Z and yada, yada. We need to talk about her and the women that's in her position, the women that suffer with alopecia, the women that, go through life, they have to shave their heads and they have to do X, Y, and Z.
You know what, Pete? I'm glad you said that, because it's been close to a week now since the Oscars, right?
Yeah, it's been a week today.
Okay. It's funny because after all this went down, there is still no apology from Chris Rock to Jada. I just realized that.
That's what I'm saying.
There's still no apology.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, here's the deal. Like I said before, when we started talking about this, people assumed that he knew about her alopecia. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We don't know. But I know between last Sunday and this Sunday, he knows. So with that being said, it seems to me like at minimum, he should apologize. Be like, even though I'm a comedian, I was not aware. I do apologize.
There you go.
I didn't understand. Blah, 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 blah.
That's all you have to do.
Right.
That's all you have to do.
It's been a week. You can't tell me by now you don't know.
Okay, a man slapped the taste out your mouth. Somebody was disrespected. He felt that you disrespected his wife. Like you said, bare minimum.
If Jada, you got slapped, wouldn't you want to know why?
Jada, I apologize. I mean, I didn't, I ain't gonna be no punk or anything, but if you felt like I disrespected you, I sincerely apologize. And just being a black man talking to another black woman. Sister, I apologize. If I offended you in any way, sister, I apologize. But again, he's not in our world anymore.
But his brother is, because his brother talking cash blank.
Look, first of all, we gonna do this little side piece on Tony Rock, and we gonna end this real quick on Tony Rock. Mind your business, dog.
That's his brother.
That's his
brother.
Chris Rock ain't never done nothing for him. He trying to get clout. He trying to make his ticket sales go up.
Mm.
Because if your brother was worth his salt, he'd take you. He would have took you with him. Chris ain't never talked about his brother unless asked. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
He ain't do nothing for Tony. He ain't do nothing for Tony Rock. Hey, hold on, you protecting your big brother? You trying to defend your big brother?
Yeah.
That don't even go together. That don't even.
He said that don't even go together.
That ain't even right. You trying to protect your big brother, the big brother that you
go together.
the big brother that you living off his name. Because if your last name wasn't Rock, we wouldn't know who you were. If we didn't know you was Chris Rock, brother, nobody would pay you any attention at all. So, bro, mind your business. Let grown folk handle grown folk stuff. Quit trying to make your comedy shows bigger because your brother got the taste slapped out of his mouth, and that's all you doing. All right, I'm done with Tony Rock.
All right. Well, hopefully, Will can make amends. Hopefully Chris can realize the error of his ways, not necessarily just with Jada, but also with the black community. Because I know how a lot of us like to throw one another away when we mess up.
Oh, yeah.
But my thing is, it ain't enough of us to throw away.
Exactly.
It really isn't. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all mess up. None of us are perfect. Be careful who you point at, because there's 3-4 of the pink fingers pointing back at you. It's just nobody knows your mess. Their mess has been publicized and televised, but nobody knows. And you wouldn't want your stuff to be out there. So, for the sake of our community, I just hope that this issue can be resolved. But it's gonna be a joke for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't get Will Smith. Don't get get Chris Rock.
Yeah, for real. For real.
It's gonna be a joke for a long time. But I'm just hoping we can overcome, because, like I said, it ain't enough of us to throw away. We don't have that.
Exactly.
We don't have that ability to do that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move into the Black inventors. And this is going to be a short and sweet one, but still very important to know and understand. The person's name is Jan Ernst Matzeliger, Matzeliger. Jan Ernst Matzeliger. Automation isn't reserved for the 20th and 21st centuries. Jan Ernst Matzeliger patented an automated shoemaker as early as 1883.
Wow.
Due to his design, the machine streamlined the process of connecting the leather to each part of the sole. With rapid efficiency, the machine could make up to 700 pairs of shoes per day. This drove the cost of shoe production down drastically. It also increased shoe availability and decreased shoe size. Now, despite his unfortunate death at only 37 years of age, his invention revolutionized shoemaking. It was also a crucial first step towards our future of automation. So Jan Ernst Matzeliger patented the automated shoemaker. That's the brother whose invention is used to this day. Of course, it's been tweaked or modified, but the basics is on our boy Jan, and this is the way a lot of our shoes are even made today.
Wow. As I say every week, man, we are a great people. We are a great people. This world does not revolve without the black man, woman, and child. Period. Point blank. We are a great people.
Indeed. Jan Ernst Matzeliger. That is his name. Automated shoemaker.
Wow.
And we love our shoes.
I know that's right.
Yep. Pete, what's up? You got the book?
Yes, sir. The book of the week is called Medical Apartheid. The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present.
My sister told me about this. She has that book. She told me about that book.
Oh, wow. Again, a medical apartheid. The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. and the author of this book is Harriet A. Washington. And the title, it's pretty self-explanatory. It goes from the time of slavery until now, how black people, black bodies, black men, women, and children bodies were used for medical experimentation. And I have a quote right here from let's see. This is how powerful it is. From this was a neurosurgeon, excuse me, Howard Bailey, in a 1960 speech delivered while at Tulane Medical School. Again, this is from a 1960 speech by Howard Bailey, a medical doctor. It was cheaper to use, niggers than cats because niggers were everywhere, and cheaper than experimental animals. That was a quote from a speech at Tulane Medical School in 1960.
1960?
Yes, sir. 1960. We're not talking 1875, 1960. It was cheaper to use black folk than cats because we were everywhere, meaning black folk. Well, he used the N word with the hard ER because we were cheaper, or N words were cheaper than experimental animals. And that was in 1960. So again, the title of the book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present, by Harriet A. Washington.
A must read, folks.
Yes.
A must read. If you don't understand your past, it's bound to be repeated.
Yep.
Please understand what's going on.
Yep.
Wow. All right, we're moving on to the Bible verse of the week. Coming from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. And in light of, all the stuff we talked about today, I feel it's, pertinent to put a bow on, this conversation today. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 3 and 4, and it reads, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man."
There it is.
Yep. So just as best we can, folks, let's just do everything in love, and you can't go wrong.
That's right.
Cannot go wrong.
That's right.
Pete, anything else?
Again, as always, every podcast, I say this: love your people, protect your people, tell your people that you love them, because it's dangerous out here for our people. It is on a daily basis. Tomorrow's not promised. Yes, sir. It's it is dangerous out here for our people. Like I said, be sure to tell your people that you love them, love on them, and tell them how important they are. And protect your people, protect your peace at all times.
Indeed. And always, in the famous words of Marcus Garvey, never forget that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek as far as possible to be intelligent. All right. Well, that's it for us this week, folks. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. You can catch us on any platform that you use to get your podcast. We're there. And if you like these podcasts, please like them, obviously. Subscribe to the channel and share these videos with your friends and families. I feel like, Pete and I both feel like these are topics that we choose every week that are somewhat important to the Black and brown community, things we need to know about, not only the topic itself, but unpacking that topic and why it affects us and why we should look at it certain ways. You know what I'm saying? Versus what mainstream would give us. This is our perspective, and we're hoping that our perspectives will give you some insight and get you to thinking, if not our way, another way, and to help us as a community move in a positive and a more gracious light, if you will. All right, folks, that's it. Take care. Be blessed. Be safe. We out.
Peace.